mashiyane politically incorrect ke tshwere baswa ba umkhonto wesizwe banna ba le ba o tlhaba ka lerumo. Mngoni, please tell us ke mang wa kae so we can kick it.
Well, Mugoniwa lerumo pele lena, it's Eugene Nkadimeng, a student at the University of South Africa, an LLB student, and a provincial organizer within the Gauteng Provincial Task Team. And I'm a follower of Ubaba, Mhlanganyelo Jacob Gedlehle.
Yes.
And I'm an ardent lover of the Marxist-Leninist school of thought. Yes. In no way, that's me.
Okay, so you reckon MK Party subscribe to those Leninist thoughts? Ideological.
Well, I would love to believe that it does lean towards that side.
Yes.
Looking at our Secretary General, Floyd Shivambu, he's also a Marxist-Leninist, a scholar of note and a theoretician on his own. And I believe he carries so much influence within the organization that he can shift the ideology towards that side.
Okay.
Definitely.
So in other words, you are those who believe that this organization can be shaped by the thoughts of the members itself. You can shape the way the organization is growing, because I mean, you guys are just 1 year old. As you grow up, more minds come together, like championed by Floyd.
Yes.
It becomes what the members want it to be.
Definitely. I'm a believer that as you form an organization, the organization is formed by not entirely what we think, but there is a school of thought that embodies the organization. And that school of thought, although we might argue as to which one is more dominant and which one is not, that school of thought that wins within these two schools of thought that are in question, it takes over, it embodies the organization, it becomes the philosophy and the moral guiding concept of the organization. So I'm more convinced that we are moving within the range of Marx, Lenin, and Fanon.
Okay.
Yes.
Nkadimeng, where were you born, and what are your politics, and how did you become who you are?
Well,
where you are, especially in Gauteng. Started, maybe just give us a bit of your origins.
Ke belegelwa tukulogeng ya kwa ga Motiba, and we moved to Mpumalanga in Middleburg. That's where we started our schooling. And we moved from Middleburg post-matric. We came here to Gauteng in the University of the Land, which is UNISA, University of South Africa. And then we started joining student activism, student politics, being recruited left, right, and center to say, hey, this is what is happening in the country. Are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable with the way students are treated in the country, with student life? We were mostly shaped by Fees Must Fall. And we were shaped by the status quo of students within the country. And we see many students in the country who have passed very well. In fact, we are very proud of the outcomes, our matric results at 2024. The class of 2024 did extremely well. So when students are rejected in large numbers, as they already have been rejected by universities across, it raises a question to say, what needs to be done? And that tells us that what needs to be done is you need more infrastructure in education, you need more investment in universities across the board, research institutes, science and tech. You need more artisanry. You see, you need more TVET colleges. So that tells us that we are more, and we are synonymous with the struggles of students, because we come from backgrounds that are absolutely devoid of, should I say, dare say, luxury. Yes, we are devoid of luxury, we are devoid of anything great besides the fact that poverty invokes us, poverty makes us. We are in the formation of rejecting it, denouncing it, and wanting better. As Deng Xiaoping puts it very well, that to be rich is glorious. Not that we are aiming to be richer than others, but we are simply aiming that let us all afford, let us have an affluent lifestyle, let us de-alienate ourselves from poverty. Let us move away from these angles of entanglements, which is poverty, and liberate ourselves, literally. Yeah.
And you then become
yes.
What in the In the MK?
I'm in the MKSM right now. Umkhonto is a student movement. I'm the provincial organizer. We are in the provincial task team right now, and also from the Sunnyside branch, UNISA. So our role literally is just to form the student movement within the province, to shape it and to guide wheresoever we can. Of course, with the guidance of the national detachment team and the mother body itself offering its own support and guidance to us to say, no, bafana bami, senigijima kakhulu, buyani nganeno, and so on and so forth, to not deviate and lose track of force. Yes.
So you are the organizer of the province, and it's still a task team.
It's still a task team.
Because the detachments are still going to trickle down from the province.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what are the problems that are plaguing you? And I understand you championing plight of the youth to make sure that you're moving from poverty to
affluence.
Yeah, to affluence. And you
definitely.
And you do not want that shift to be. Don't feel guilty when you are going to eat.
Yes.
Everyone needs to eat. No, we can't glorify poverty.
Definitely,
it's a thing.
Socialism is not poverty.
Yes. So going there, if the pie is enough, let's go Kaufel. You want to champion that.
Yes.
And you have identified education as one of those.
Yes, one of those
tools.
Aspects.
And tell us, what are the impediments there and how are you solving them?
You see, when you look at the status quo of education in the country, there's no doubt that the fees must fall had its impact on transforming the education policy, moving NSFAS from being a loan to a bursary, and fast forward, in some instances, a grant. It's actually what we would pioneer for, to have it as a grant for everyone else. And when we assume the position of saying that we want NSFAS to assist financially students to study, to acquire degrees, and to go into workplaces with a belief and understanding that they are because of a community. So the challenges that beset millions, if not hundreds of thousands of students in this country, is access to education. Access to education, simply put, you pass your matric, you want to go to school, you apply, and yet you qualify for a qualification, and you are rejected on the basis of space. That tells you that there are not enough or sufficing universities to take students. We don't have sufficing or sufficient TVET colleges for students to go and study, be mechanical engineers, civil engineers, artisans, doctors, engineers, researchers, scientists. We see that as some sort of a curse upon the nation. Because if you are aiming to liberate and you leave a majority, a chunk of people outside of the education pool, 10 years to now, 20 years to now, you will be calling those people criminals who are mugging people, who are killing people, because they'll also be wanting to survive. They would also be wanting to find themselves fending for themselves and their children. So we see that as a way out, education as a way out. Towards what? Towards a more balanced lifestyle, towards a society that respects itself, towards a society that gives respect to those who were previously disadvantaged, to those who were denied access to education, be it because of skin or race, or should I say gender. We are more inclined to believe that we want people to study, we want people to go to school. As MKSM, we are more inclined also to believe that if we deny thousands of students the access to education, we shall have failed, because we shall not have succeeded on the mandate of JG Zuma, mandate of Ubaba, when he says that intsha maye esikolweni, intsha mayifunde. That motto cannot be challenged. Sikwazi kanjani ngemfundo if millions and hundreds of thousands are behind? How do we liberate? Because our war, or rather our battle today, is not succinctly the same as fighting for political revolution. We are now on the page of fighting for economic revolution. And when fighting for economic revolution, you must understand that you need education. You need education to dismantle neoliberal organizations, to dismantle neoliberal policies and say, capitalism is not your only way out. We can try socialist policies, as China is doing, by the way, as Vietnam is going along that way. So what you need is it's a country that understands that you don't have to be necessarily capitalist to do it. You don't need to take education and commercialize it in a capitalist sense like VETS and UCT do. You don't have to be extremely affluent to go there. We just need an understanding that more investment in higher education, more investment in, we are moving with the times. And moving with the times means what? You need to invest in science and technology. The world is moving towards artificial intelligence. The fourth industrial revolution needs you to move along those lines of science and tech. So you need investment even from high school, where you make people understand, students understand that if you study mathematics and science, there are more opportunities here. That is not to say that if you don't do mathematics and science, you will not succeed in life. No. But what we are saying is the world is moving towards that direction, and you can't escape it and say you want to exclude yourself from artificial intelligence. So we are on the quest and on the march. More access to education, development, investment in science and technology leads to a better South Africa, leads to a better Africa, in fact. Yes.
Day-to-day challenges. When I spoke to, I was at the TUT rent.
Yes.
And Rena Old School, we call it technical rent. So at the rent, one of the issues that I spoke to Ehlabirwa there, who was telling me, Mpahlele Are, MK, it's so grounded that it even can facilitate help for comrades who coming from Mutwajwala Mpahlele, Mutwajwala Rustenburg, Moloring. I mean, you came to the city. You are at the mercy of the elements of a big city, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, and I mean, he spoke about Banabasatana against our brothers from the east, you know.
Definitely.
Yes, and he was very practically saying, we can negotiate for your accommodation, especially if you meet the NSFAS criteria. We could negotiate that border, man. There's a madam here, there's a gentleman here who we are going to expose. Find this person accommodation. And if he's got his paperwork, here is his paperwork. He may not be able to pay now, but when the staff approvals come, you'll kick in, please accommodate this person. So he's telling me about practical things that you guys are doing. What is it that you are doing on the practical level? So if Mutswadi is listening now from Umhluzi, or someone is listening from Kanyamazan, or someone is what is it that MK can do for Banabarena in Pretoria? What is that generally the thing that you do?
Well, because we at UNISA are not a contact university.
Yes.
We are more of an ODEL institution, which means that the communication with students is not frequent.
There isn't an holiday. I'm just giving you an example. An example is your struggles may not be similar to those.
Yes,
but you guys are championing the same campaign.
Of course.
Of what do you call your campaign? A student campaign?
It's a campaign.
Yeah,
yes.
That campaign.
Yes.
You carry the same ethos of helping all the institutions as a provincial
task team.
Yes.
On the provincial.
You don't see it as UNISA only.
Yes.
You see it as Tekis, TUT, all these institutions.
And so on
exactly.
And so forth. Yes.
So that's why I want, what is your understanding of what comrades are doing in campuses and different campuses?
I would definitely say that comrades in various institutions, including ours, have made it rather a tradition to allow students from far to contact them. As we were coming in here, we were on a call with a student who was seeking residence and was asking as to how do I apply for residence. When I was applying, I was not made aware of that. And then we were in contact with another leader there in TUT who was also advising us on how to move on the matter. We're also having, with our case in UNISA, whereby you have a student who says, I've registered, but I can't access my study material. What is happening? We are able to go in and talk to the administration side to say, okay, there are 10 students who residing in Limpopo, in Ramagashwa, they were asking whether will they receive the study material via courier or will they have to come here and fetch it, and how do we assist in that regard. We are able to change their details through their consent, of course, with the administration, to say, no, this is a student who wants you to change their details on the system.
Yes.
Can you please upload it in their documentation? Here it is. And moreover, we're also able to assist with the issue of applications, NSFAS applications, because you find matriculants telling you that, hey, I went through the website, but I don't understand what is it requires, which documents are needed here. So we assist freely without having to say, let us charge you 20 rand, 50 rand. No. Okay. We are doing it from the very bottom of our hearts, with an understanding that if you are charging the student who comes home who has nothing, and you are saying, no, she must pay you 50 rand, but yourself, when you arrived here, you were assisted. You did not pay that 50 rand.
Yeah.
So why are you charging those ones now?
Thank you.
Yes.
So you've got a kind of setup at the technical run. They've got a gazebo. I believe
we also
tax they have. Now you have. So
yes.
Do you know at the back of your mind? And I know I'm pushing you. Do you know at the back of your mind where that gazebo for someone who's sending their kids, where in maybe Sunnyside, Unisa campus, where will they find that gazebo, and who are the people to contact?
Well, if you would find the gazebo right at the entrance of the Unisa Sunnyside campus.
Okay.
MKSM, it's right there. There are individuals that are there. Myself, I'm there always.
All right.
With the regional convener, Mambanguna, who's always there as well. And if should you want to know how to contact us, we would leave our contacts with you.
Sure.
So that when they want to contact us, they can contact us and communicate with us.
Do you know the kind of setup? Do they have it at UP?
I am informed that they have the setup at UP. They have the setup in TUT. They have the setup in UJ. So we've seen it. We've interacted.
Social campus as
well.
TUT
Rand, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the gazebos are there. The student activists are there to assist and offer help to anyone who seeks help. We are not necessarily inclined to say, when we've assisted you, therefore you are forced.
Tara membership.
No.
Yeah.
We are in a democratic society. Assisting an individual does not necessarily compel them to join you. But the art of convincing the latter to say, but you see, we've come from far.
So even at night, I want you to emphasize this.
Yes.
If we get to 6,
yes.
Or packet full round, it doesn't mean
yes, that's the case. Because if you arrive home regular 6, doesn't necessarily mean that the person is compelled.
Yeah.
But if you are able to convince them to say, hey, no, then you can move on.
She can finish that 6
yes.
and still walk away opposite your direction.
Exactly.
And she's at liberty to do that. You are not forcing her to say, but you drank the first one.
Yes.
There's a fine print below the dump. You did not see it.
You see,
you are protecting women.
We are protecting women.
Yeah.
So we are not at all compelled to say, now I've been assisted by these ones. Now every time I must now come and give you something, or I must now join you right here, right now. If the person is not entirely convinced with your assistance or with your political orientation, you can still try as time goes on to convince them to say, no, but you see, we were able to assist here. We can still be able to assist in other areas. Nonetheless, give it time. Time solves many things. Yes, there's no way we will then tell you that, hey, come, join us, don't go to those ones. No, we are entirely open.
Okay.
We are welcoming people.
I understand.
Yes.
So let's talk about South Africa as it stands now.
Yes.
I understand, I mean, as the youth, you've got very topical issues that you want to discuss, and because Renard Lovaya, the close Shalahi.
Yes, yes.
And if you are